What's it like these days to sell a house? To some, it sounds overwhelming and stressful, but to get the real scoop, let's talk to a couple who has actually been through it recently themselves. Beth and James Verseman, welcome to Real Life. We're so glad you can join us, and we're here also with Karen Kelly, who is a realtor who also works with sellers to get them through that process. So, okay, so we've been talking throughout all of our Real Life episodes about sellers getting their houses ready and all the things you have to do to get rid of stuff and all of that. So what was that like for you guys?
Well, I was told very promptly upon our realtor entering our house that I needed to downsize my plant collection from 64 to none. So that was a challenge. Shout out to U-Haul.
So yeah, what did you do with 64 plants? Did you save them?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And God love our in-laws. They've dedicated a few rooms to the plants, and they're still alive and kicking. So.
Oh my gosh,
but
64 plants.
It was a challenge.
Yeah, so they would, and we talked about in one of our episodes with Andrea Lunzen, who's our stylist on the show, how plants can look in photographs like clutter. They're not, they're living things, but that's hard. So what was it like when he said that to you?
I expected it because, so we are minimalists. So the plants were very strategically and appropriately placed.
Okay.
But I knew that, not the average person isn't going to want to see that in their potential living space.
Yeah.
So I had come to terms with that. We'd actually started, I think we'd removed about half of them before he got there. But it was fine. I knew that we had to, cater to the general public, so I was prepared for that.
So you're newlyweds, and this was the place you started the process of becoming one. What was that like to have to think about packing up and moving on from it?
Right, let's let James answer this.
I think we're going to have two separate answers on this.
That's okay.
But for me, the whole process was actually very easy and not necessarily stress-free, but low stress. It was the realtor came in and said, "Hey, you guys, has this already been staged? Our house has always been well put together." So we're very, very fortunate on that we're both on the same page in that, I guess, mindset. So for me, it really was a good situation overall, and it's exciting because we're moving to our new house, which is our forever home.
Yeah.
So we're both very, very excited about
home,
that.
and this had been your home before you guys were married.
Correct.
So, and now you're excited because you're moving into a home with Beth that you're going to choose together.
Correct.
I
Yes.
love that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And you guys are like the ideal sellers, where the only thing you had to worry about was the plants. So what was your experience, Beth?
So in that house, one of our first dates, actually, he was building it. So he brought me out to see it, and it was just studs that we walked through. And so kind of imagining not only this new person in my life, but like building, kind of making it ours together, like that was 3 dates into a relationship, a little overwhelming. But I mean, throughout the last, few 3-4 years, we made that space our own. And so we had our first Thanksgiving and our first Christmas, and our families met in that space. And I came in with a dog from my last house, and he had a dog. It's like we made that space was like kind of the foundation of our relationship. So leaving it for me was emotional. But
You connected with it.
We really did.
It meant a lot to you, and that's typical that we find of sellers. It's bittersweet. They're excited about moving to the next home, but yet they're leaving behind all the memories that they started there.
And let's talk about the market and how fast things are going. Were you prepared for the swiftness which yours was sold?
And how quickly was that?
One day is what it sold in.
That's
So
swift.
the day it went on the market, it sold. And we had some friends a lot of our friends are moving right now. So we kind of were expecting it to go quick, and we both looked at each other and said, our house is so well put together. If some of our friends' house are selling, ours is going to sell pretty quick too. So we were expecting
your friends
it.
aren't listening right now. But go.
No, but we kind of expected it, but then when it happens, you're never really prepared for it. Now it's scramble mode, and
because then a lot of stuff happens. The home inspection process, and how was that? Probably not too bad in a newer build home.
it was interesting.
Yeah, the home was 3 years old, so the hot water was too hot. That was one of the things. But really, overall, I think we had a radon. We needed to put in a system. Other than that, it was very easy and straightforward, I thought.
It was easy.
Yeah, and how did it, so only one day in the market, you didn't have like days and days of people coming through, but there was 1 or 2 days of that. And
Right.
how did that feel to know you guys are away with the dogs and the plants?
Yeah, you're right.
And there's strangers walking through your home.
I think we'd come to terms with it. I think we were excited. We were pretty close with our neighbors, so we'd always have them kind of peeking and on the lookout and, okay, you know, did they walk out excited? You know, what was the vibe?
yeah.
And
Good.
they would give us a full 411
I mean,
afterwards.
that's what buyers need to be aware of that. People have cameras or they park across a street. The sellers often do that and they watch that, or if they don't have the neighbors on patrol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We enlisted our neighbors for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. So you guys, I understand, then had to transition into a temporary home living with
My parents, yes.
your parents.
My
Hey,
parents.
newlyweds.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, okay, living with the in-laws. How was
Testing the whole relationship. 6 months in.
that? Are you doing that right now? Is that where
Yes.
we're okay, going well?
I'll let her answer that one.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
We are in, I'm not trying to brag, but we are in the ideal situation. You know, his mom loves to have flowers everywhere, and I don't have my gardening outlet because I don't have my house to just, you know, dig up the landscaping. So she's given me full reign of all of the potted plants, and we have a pool out back, and we have kind of our own section of the house, our own living space. So it is literally the ideal situation. And we cohabitate with them very well. So it's been perfect, knock on wood.
Oh my gosh, that is a great way to wrap. I love that. It's perfect with the in-laws. Love it, and she's going to hate to see you leave because you're taking care of the garden.
I'll come back.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, you guys, thank you so much, James and Beth, for joining us today. So glad you could be here. And we love to bring you actual stories of people who have bought or sold a home right here on Real Life. I'm Sarah Bernard, and I appreciate you joining us today. Keep coming back for more great real estate tips that you can use.